Deirdre, can you tell me a bit about your organization and, of course, yourself?
Yes. Well, first of all, I'm a pain patient before I'm any president. So I've lived with pain over 14 years at this stage, and I knew nothing about pain before that. So by trying to get back to work and starting to work in the voluntary sector, understanding a little bit more around mental health as well, I got involved with the Irish pain organisation, Chronic Pain Ireland, and was doing a lot of work with them, and then was chair of that, and now I'm president of Pain Alliance Europe. And Pain Alliance Europe are an umbrella group of 44 different organisations in 19 different countries. And we represent really all different kinds of groups that are more focused on one particular disease area, so say maybe fibromyalgia or arthritis, or then there's other organisations that look at pain as in general, or maybe patient rights
Like
in
ours.
general. Like yours, exactly.
Yeah.
Like yours that is pain in general. The Irish one is the same.
Yeah.
Or then maybe more like active citizens and things like that, more around patient rights, for example. So there's all different kinds of groups that are part of ourselves. And really what we try to do is, first of all, represent the voice of patients, but there's different ways that we do that. And one would be the research that we do ourselves as PAE. It's in the patient voice, it's patient-led. It's not to be published in academia or anything like that. It's really for us to touch base with patients and go, what are your concerns at the moment? Look at this theme, we think it's important, what do you think? And really capturing that voice, so that when I can stand up at a congress like this, I can genuinely say, I'm representing patients. It's not from my experience, it's not from one organisation, it's from across Europe, and that is so important.
And in Denmark, we are part of Pain Alliance Europe as well, among other countries.
Indeed.
And organizations. And we also, I think, benefit a lot from me just sitting here talking to you about how the conditions are in other countries, and how we can inspire each other to do more on a healthcare professional level, but as well on a lobbying political level, to make chronic pain people more aware of the issues of chronic pain.
I think organisations, we need to support each other, because often what attracts us to this work is personal experience or close personal experience. And we're all fighting the same fight, albeit in different countries.
Yeah.
So we need to support each other. And I'm so happy to see that some patient groups made it today. And I was so eager for everybody to meet each other and get talking and swapping ideas, because the challenges are the same.
Yeah.
We all think our countries are unique or our condition is unique, but really it is, the challenges more often are very similar.
And you were actually one of the speakers of the one of the workshops, the plenaries.
Indeed.
Where we talked about patient engagement, inclusion in research.
Exactly.
Because it's so important to have like what the researchers are focusing on. Is it really important to the patients?
Indeed, because it's not even that patients need to participate, is that they need to be involved from the very beginning. It's like, why are you even asking the question you are asking? Is that really going to make a difference to patients? Because more often than not, they've read the literature maybe, there's something when they were studying, they were curious about themselves, and that might be an academic curiosity, and there's plenty of space for that, but it can't only be that. We need to fill the pool of knowledge with the patient voice at the centre as what will make the difference to people's lives, what should we be really looking at within research, how the research is done, the way that gets back to patients, and being realistic as, well, just because I do a piece of research today, it doesn't mean that if I go to my doctor on Monday, things have already changed. And sometimes that's what we all want, but that isn't the way it works. And I think that can be really discouraging if you try to participate at the beginning as well, as going, well, I didn't hear what happened, or it was all in the wrong language, or I didn't understand, and why would I do it again? And there's lots of reasons not to participate. That's why it's so important that when we're designing all of these studies, that patients are involved not only, but it's designed towards them as well, that they're active participants.
And also like engaged. In the finishing phases where you publish the results, like I noticed that like EFIC have a campaign about plain talk, right?
Talking. Exactly.
so that you as a researcher become aware of how you talk and which language you use to communicate your findings.
And it's not only for research, it's across the board. Health literacy is so important. I mean, to me, health literacy is knowing how to find health information, how to know what kind of things are healthy or not in the first place. And I think that's more community-based. Because even with PAE, in one survey that we did, we found that people are living in pain for a year before they ever go and get any kind of medical help at all. So that's a whole year of time where we can really reach out to patients that aren't yet patients, people within the community that are trying to deal with pain. So they might be going to their pharmacy, for example, they're talking to their friends, they're going online, they're trying to find information. And that's the exact time that we need to catch people, because that's when we're at the stage where prevention is so important. If you have acute pain now, understanding that it can become chronic, understanding that if we treat things early enough in some cases, you can prevent chronification.
So that is where the awareness is so important.
Indeed.
Among general practitioners, healthcare, the whole healthcare sector, and the public as a whole.
Exactly.
So that people know that they need to take this seriously.
Prime example, people that are getting older, so maybe they may not even have retired yet, and they start experiencing pain. And before they even say anything, they think themselves, oh, well, I'm just getting old, it's normal to have some pain. But how do you know how much pain is normal or not?
Exactly.
And is it really because you're getting older, or is there something else happening? And then when you're going to interact with healthcare, are you mentioning the pain? So there's all these assumptions that are out there already, and that's a huge population that underreport pain. They're often dismissed because of their age, and they may not have access to treatments. And yet this is the direction we're all going. We're only all getting older,
Exactly.
and we need to invest in our own future too.
As I was discussing earlier, we are becoming more the demographics of people. We are becoming older and older.
Exactly.
So this issue will just become more prevalent in the future, and therefore our politicians should care more about this area.
Yeah, definitely.
Not only to increase the quality of life of the single individual, but as well for the economics of society.
There's no such thing as the single individual. Something doesn't happen to one person alone. If something happens to me, it happens to my friends, it happens to my family, it happens to my employer, it happens to the society that need to support me if I can't work, for example. There's no, unless you are, a recluse in a cave somewhere, really things happen to everybody when something
that's
happens.
A very valid point. I think also you out there listening, some of you might be relatives,
Exactly. There's so many things that health affects that we can't just think of the individual patient. It's a whole web that reaches out all at the same time, often completely invisible.
Yeah.
And more, especially at a congress like this, the amount of people that say to you, oh, but you don't look like you're in pain. No. It's like, that's not how you tell.
No. On that note, we could finish off by putting a statement out there for our politicians about caring more for the area of chronic pain.
So thank you for the chance to sit down and chat.
Thank you, Deirdre. Is it Sláinte?
Sláinte is good health, yes.
Good health.
Thanks, everybody.